Welcome to Restaurant Reflections. Today we'll be reviewing 2011 KTV Karaoke. 2011 KTV Karaoke is part of a set of restaurants under the name 2011 Group. 2011 Group are relatively new restaurants in the heart of Parramatta, Sydney. It's kind of hard to explain and a little confusing, but once you get there you'll get it. Basically there's an all-you-can-eat Chinese hot pot restaurant, a karaoke restaurant, and a yum cha restaurant, all operating under the brand name of 2011. After today, I've officially been to all three. This specific review is about the KTV Karaoke aspect of 2011 Group. Oh, by the way, just as a quick note here, I've heard they no longer do yum cha. So how easy is it to get to? The premises is easy to locate and close to Westfield Parramatta. It's about a 4-minute walk from Parramatta Station. As you can see in the map, secure parking is readily available via Westfields and a back alley street called Firehorse Lane. All three restaurants are located on the same level. Depending on which side of the tower you arrive from, you'll either be greeted with an escalator as pictured, or there will also be a lift option that can take you there. To the right and left of the escalator is the hot pot, and further left is the karaoke. You can enjoy their seafood hot pot before singing to your heart's content. Opening times, booking, price, noise, accessibility, gender-neutral dining, and kids services. Booking is relatively easy to do and can be done online at their website through Groupon Deal Australia. At the time of filming, there is a Groupon Deal which is quite a steal. I'll leave it as a link down below. There is no accessibility or kids menu nor gender-neutral bathrooms. At times I could hear a bunch of girls singing nearby, but other than that it was rather quiet for a karaoke place. 2011 KTV Karaoke officially opens at 6 PM, but it was more like 6:10 till they let us in, even though we were ready to roll by 5:50. I like to be on time, so I hope this is not a bad sign. Immediately we were greeted by an Asian man in slippers who spoke to us in Mandarin without asking if we spoke Mandarin, which I don't. I understand this is their clientele, but isn't it hilarious and kind of frustrating when the locals don't necessarily speak the local language, or at the very least ask you if you spoke theirs? Luckily, in this case, the man reverted back to broken English. Anyway, the package I got on Groupon came with sewers and a free drink. Upon arrival, you pick up the drinks from the fridge over there. I remember choosing a passion fruit drink. We were then led to our rooms, and then they teach us how to use the machine and gave us a choice between beef or lamb skewers. Other than that, we were then left to our own devices to well karaoke. Food can be ordered, but on this occasion we didn't do that. What I liked about the restaurant. What I liked about 2011 KTV Karaoke was the spacious rooms and ambient lighting. In the room I was in, there was a cool vintage classic mic and a stool on a slightly raised platform next to the song selection screen for those in the mood to sing. You can see the mic in the top right photo and a variety of rooms on the bottom. Prices was also decent, and there was an apparent focus on Chinese songs. Sadly, that's about its only advantage over the other karaoke restaurants in Sydney. So what did I dislike? The lack of preparation, professionalism and service, the complimentary food wasn't great, song selection was deceptively poor, and the system was all in Chinese. I mentioned before how we were greeted in Mandarin by a man in slippers. He could have been more professional. The skewers were okay, tasty but a nasty cut and rather untender. None of this really matters though, as the most important thing was the karaoke experience. About 15 minutes into the session, the battery for both mics ran out. I had to go to reception to get the battery changed. Considering that 6 PM was the restaurant's opening hours, making us one of their very first customers, the microphones should have been fully charged and ready to go. For some odd reason, certain songs were simply not available for singing on their karaoke machine. And I didn't mean the ones they warned us about. In their words, required downloading, in which green dots will appear next to the song and a warning message in Chinese will display telling you the song is unavailable. I listen to underground metal music, and so I understand that most karaoke restaurants and bars don't have all the songs, but this one takes the cake for skipping songs that it has for no apparent reason. I apologize for not having more photos or video up, but it totally skipped my mind when I demoed the system. Basically, the man did warn us that they didn't have much Western music. Still, I was pretty upset, however, when they skipped over Queen's Under Pressure and ABBA's Dancing Queen, both of which were not download only and were available to select on their song menu. At first I thought it was an accident, but this happened 3 times after they reselected those songs again and made sure it was on their playlist, so it was no accident. They just skipped the song for no reason at all. From my experience, at least 20 to 30% of the songs that were able to be selected were skipped and seems not to be available whether it was Western or Asian. And that's the one we were able to select. Or the ones, that doesn't include the ones that they warned us were download only, which basically means they couldn't be selected either, or the ones that simply just didn't appear. I tried popular Korean and Japanese artists, and while you can find them and choose from a small selection of their songs, it also skipped over songs that were selectable. For me, this came off as rather deceptive. That's like advertising that a well-known artist was available at a concert, but then they never showed up, and the organizers just hoped that people would forget that they never showed up. Dodgy, right? The machine was all in Chinese, which seemed to be their clientele, and while you can search in English, when looking for certain artists such as Lady Gaga or say the Canberries, it couldn't be found under Lady or Gaga, and with or without the in the case of the Canberries, but was clearly available when my sister looked for the long list of popular artists and found them there. It was pretty frustrating to know that your searches could not be found. Apparently the explanation was that bands cannot be searched by last name or song name, but that didn't turn out to be the case. While they did have a variety of artists, not a lot of songs were available, and often not their latest songs, such as in the case of Taylor Swift, for example. Again, couldn't be searched properly. I wasn't able to find my favorite band within Temptation at all, and while I assumed that it was simply unavailable because of their underground nature, I would be disappointed to know that it was simply due to the stupid error above. They had a couple of Nightwish songs, which was again skipped over by the machine and never played. Oh, by the way, they also don't provide an echo service for a karaoke machine. So what's the final verdict? Overall, it was a poor experience all around. It wasn't expensive, but the experience could have been better. I think the most frustrating aspect was that they just skipped many of the songs that were selected by us. Why have it be selectable at all when it just skips the song and never played it in the first place? It just comes off dodgy in a way to make it look like they have a bigger playlist than they actually have. I think the homemade karaoke better than this. We ended up leaving the karaoke about 10 minutes early feeling a little disappointed, and I've honestly never done this before. This is Restaurant Reflections. Overall, I give this experience a 2.5 star out of 5. If you like what you saw, please give a thumbs up and a comment down below. Have a recommendation on what we should review next? What's your best and or worst experience you've had at a restaurant? Leave us a comment down below and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Bye.